welcome. Today we are going to learn how to paint our cheerful cat. So you are welcome to change the color of the cat if you prefer a different one other than orange. But today I'm going to go exactly as the example is. So the colors I'm going to use for today are red, orange, yellow, blue, white, and black. The paint brushes that we need are a medium-sized flat brush and our teeny tiny detail brush. So without further ado, let's get going. So something to keep in mind if you are going to do a different color other than orange, just know that you're going to need to do a lighter tone as we go. So if you want to do a gray cat, make sure that you make it a neutral, just an even gray, and that we do a lighter gray later or something like that. So just keep that in mind as we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our small little detail brush and we're going to dip it in the orange or whatever color you want your cat to be. Then I'm going to find the bottom center of my canvas. I'm going to come about 1/8 of the way and make a dot. This is going to be the bottom of my cat. Then I'm going to come up from the center 1/3 of the way, and then I'm going to make another dot. So now what I'm going to do to connect these dots, I'm going to make a circle. So I'm just going to lightly make a circle around. Doesn't have to be perfect, we're just sketching it out. Alright, so now I'm going to go to the top center of my canvas. I'm going to come down about 1/4 of the way, and I'm going to make a dot. This is going to be the top of the head. And from there, I'm going to make an oval going down to the left at a diagonal. And the oval is going to come into about 1/4 of the way from the left side. So I'm just going to lightly make an oval. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be the head of your cat. All right, so now from there, we're going to go back to where we started our oval. I'm going to come right down to the bottom of this curve, just right here where it starts to curve on the right side. And I'm going to start connecting it down to the right side of my circle. So it's going to come down just like this. It's going to come down in a straight line. And then it's going to start scooping out towards the right of our circle. That's going to be the back of your cat. All right, so now I got to connect the front part. So I'm going to come up from the bottom left about 1/4 of the way. I'm going to make a little dot so I know where that is. About 1/4 of the way in from the left. Made my little dot. And from here, I'm going to come in and scoop out. So it's going to come slightly in, and then it's going to start curving out towards the left. So once you get about halfway, it's going to start curving out. And instead of touching your circle like this guy did, you're going to leave a little space for the arms. And I'm going to come straight down. It's going to stop at the same level of the base of your circle. Okay, so now we got to do the inner part of the arm. Now these actually do hug against this left side of the circle. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come up a little bit less than halfway up this line. So right about here, I'm going to come in about 1 inch. And I'm just going to do a parallel line. It's going to hit my left side of the circle. And then it's going to stop right where I finished the other line. Okay, now we got to give them a little foot. So from right here, I'm going to go up just a little bit on this left side of this left line. I'm going to make a little bump, little scoop, like you're making a C. It's right here on the left. And then I'm just going to connect the bottoms. Look at that little paw. So cute. All right, so we're going to work our way back up to the head. We got to put in the ears. So the first ear I'm going to do is right up here. It's going to come in from the top just about 1/8 of the way, like just right as it starts to turn. And I'm going to do a slight curved diagonal. Now, don't worry about how big your ears are. If they're a little bit bigger or smaller than mine, it's no big deal. All cats are different. And then from there, I'm going to just connect it down to my head. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a space. And then I'm going to come down and do the other one, and I'm going to start that just a little bit lower than the halfway, so about a quarter of the way up from this left side. I'm going to do his ear that's kind of curving over more. So it's almost like a little frowny face. And then I'm going to bring it back to connect to the head. Okay, we also need to put in the tail. So the tail comes up and makes a little curve. So it comes up from the bottom right. It's going to scoop up, 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 up. And then right when it hits about a quarter of the way down, it's going to start curving. So it's coming up about a third of the way. It's going to start curving around. And you can really make it however curly you want. Just going to do a nice little choop, just like that. All right, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to start filling in my whole cat with the cat color, so with my orange. So I'm using my smaller brush to fill in the smaller areas, and then I'm going to go to my bigger brush for the bigger areas. I'm going to also thicken up my tail. All right, so once you're done filling in the base color of your cat, now we need to start filling in the background. So I'm going to use a light blue, but again, this is something that you could change up if you want. You could do a totally different color. Just make sure that near the top it's a little bit lighter than the bottom. And this is a good opportunity too, as you come near your cat with your background color, to help kind of clean up any lines. So notice it's a little bit lighter on the top than on the bottom. Just a little bit of a lighter tone. I mixed some white with the background. All right, so now we're gonna start lightening up our cat a bit. I'm gonna take my big brush, I'm gonna dip it in yellow. I'm gonna start putting some yellow in the head. So I'm just gonna start pulling it along this left side, going around this whole left side of the oval, and then I'm just gonna blend it in to my orange. So whatever color you're using, this is just gonna be a lighter tone of that color. So it's just this top half, just blending it in, blend, blend, blend. I'm gonna now pull it through the middle of the body. So I'm gonna start right underneath my oval. And I'm just gonna pull it straight down the center. And I'm just gonna blend it in. So we put it on the left side of the oval, we pulled it down the middle of the body. Now we're going to do it along the left side of our circle. So remember, as you're putting it in, you're blending it. If you're having a hard time blending, go back to your main base tone and mix it up with this color to help it blend. So it's adding just a nice highlight. And then I'm going to pull it along this left side of the arms. So I'm just going to start about halfway because we're going to cover this part up here anyways later. So just along this left side and the foot. Remember, if you need to go to your smaller brush, that's okay. I'm just going back and forth. It's helping it blend, soften up. So now I'm going to go to my smaller brush so that way I can get into these little spaces like the ears. So for the ears, I'm just going to cut it in half. So you're still going to have a little bit of that darker tone on the far right side. So I'm going to cut it in half, go towards the right. You're going to have that little space. The last place we're going to put the yellow now is going to be just throughout the tail. So I'm just going to pull it through every so often. Just a few strokes of the yellow. Alright, so I'm still with my little brush, and now I'm going to make a really dark orange. I'm going to mix a little bit of black with my orange. Now it's just a dot of black. I don't want it to be super, super dark. It's just slightly darker. So I'm just going to pull that along this top right curve of my oval on the head. So you see it's slightly darker. I'm going to pull that just a little bit down into the neck. About halfway down my back, I'm going to go down this right side. And then right over here on this left where the arm meets the little curve of your circle, we're going to outline that. So we're going to do a little bit of a line along this right side of the arms. It's going to go a little bit past that circle, and then I'm going to curve it around that circle just a smidge. So you have a little bit of definition going on. Now I'm just going to lightly pull it through my tail. So just like how we put in the yellow earlier, now we're going to put in this darker tone. So we're getting some definition going on. So now we're going to clean our little brush, and we're going to make a light yellow. So a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow. And we're just gonna do a little scoop around the bottom part of our oval. So just a little scoop. And then right here in the middle of the oval, I'm going to connect each end. It's going to kind of curve down into that middle. So if it helps to make a little dot, it's going to be in the middle, a little bit lower, a little bit towards the right. And I'm going to curve down and curve down. Just like that. And then we're going to fill it in. All right, so now still with our light yellow, I'm going to start just a little bit in on this light yellow on the right side and make a little mark, so just a little bit in there, less than halfway. And from there, I'm going to scoop it down and it's going to meet me just right where I started my line of my shade. So I'm going to scoop it down, it's going to go to the left side of the cat. But it's going to stop right there at that same level. So I made a little scoop. And now instead of going all the way to the edge, I'm going to leave just a sliver of orange. So I'm going to fill this in, but I'm going to leave just a sliver of orange along the left side. Now with that same color, I'm going to do a little highlight on this upper part of the bottom tail. Just here on the left. Just a little bit of that highlight. And then same thing right over here where it curves. I'm going to pull that light yellow right through there. So it's a little bit of a highlight and a highlight. All right, so time to put in the pink. Mix a little bit of red, a little bit of white. I'm going to start here on my right ear. I'm going to start at the very point of the ear. I'm going to curve it down. It's going to go right at the middle of where it meets the head. So curve and just stop right there in the middle. You guys can see that. Curve and then just stop right there. Now from there, I'm going to fill in the whole left side. So I pretty much just cut it right in half. And I followed the curved shape of the ear. So now I'm going to do the same thing over here on this left ear. I'm going to start at the point. I'm going to curve it down. I'm going to meet it right in the middle. And I'm just going to fill in this whole left side. Or in this case, it's more the bottom. And then the last thing we're going to do with the pink is we're going to put in this little cute nose. So right here where it dips, we're going to make an upside down triangle. So I'm going to curve down right where it dips. I just went down, choop, choop. And then I'm going to curve the top and then fill it in. So you have a nice, cute little triangle. All right, so now we're going to go to our black. We're going to add some of the details in. So the first thing we're going to do is put in the eyes. The eyes are closed. So they're just like these little frowny faces, right? One on the right and one on the left. I'm going to do a little frowny face on the right. And a frowny face on the left. Then we got to do the whiskers. So the whiskers, there are 3 whiskers. They start right here in the middle of your light yellow. So it's up to you, the shape you want to do. I always lightly put my pinky on the canvas so I have some stability. So I do my first one halfway, and then the other 2 are just right next to it, and they're just parallel. These little whiskers, 1, 2, 3. There you go. And then we got to do the other side so it's even. So same thing, it's going to start the halfway and they're going to come down a diagonal. One, two, three. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the little mouth with our black. So I'm going to start at the bottom of my triangle nose, and I'm going to come down and scoop to the left. And then come down and scoop to the right. Look how cheerful this guy is. Then if you want to get a little fancy, I'm going to go back to my little brush still, and I'm going to go to my red, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that darker tone just in the base of the ear and the pink. I'm just going to flick it up so it's just slightly darker. And the same thing on this other ear. So this is just straight red. It's a darker tone. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the base of the nose. So now you have your cute, cheerful cat. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to see your finished masterpieces, especially if you changed it up and added your own flair. Please tag us on Facebook, Instagram as #SplashArtClass, @SplashArtClass. We would love to see them shown off. Also, always remember to check our website. We're always adding new live classes as well as on demand. Enjoy.